Hey there, I hope we are live. Yes.
Hey Neha, how are you? Welcome to our third live session, everyone. I'm so happy that God gave us another day to meet each other, all our audience, our beautiful, wonderful people on Instagram. It's such a wonderful occasion. I'm so happy that we are meeting once again to share so much of information with our people, and that too without any cost. Am I audible? Just checking my connectivity. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, Neha?
I'm good, sir.
Cool. I think our friends are also joining in the
Yes,
comment
sir.
section. We can also see them. Devika is there, Hirash is there, and so many others will also be joining soon, I believe. Devika,
Yes, sir.
Hirash, how are you guys? Uh, See, today's important issue that we are talking about is, first of all, how to use language, how to learn English language uh, efficiently, how to use language, how to understand when people speak or write in English. Basically, it's about language because language is the building block of reality. Language is what we need to use in order to survive in this world. For example, if you are starting a business, imagine you are starting a new business, or imagine that you are going somewhere for a new job. And what you need to do is communicate with people so that they will help you out. They will come and buy your services. If you don't communicate with them, if you don't talk to them, if you don't write your marketing emails, if you don't write your posters in a good language, then people are not going to get impressed by your services. Even though you offer probably the best service in the world, maybe you started a restaurant and maybe it's probably serving the really best dishes in the whole of the city, but still people might not be interested if you write something wrong on the board, on the flex board, or on the flyers and posters that you distribute. So because we need to promote our businesses. So essentially, if you know language, if you have an understanding of how language works, especially English language, if you know how English language functions, if you know how English language works, I think we have a greater chance of getting successful, being successful in life, and I think that is the the message of today's live session. When we learn language, what are the things that you need to keep in mind? Neha, what do you think? What did you do specifically, or can you suggest a few tips for our young learners that you have used to learn English language? Could you please suggest a
Yes,
few
sir.
tips? Yeah, please do.
Yes. Sir, grammar. The main thing is grammar should be the strong and the basic foundation of our English language. When we have a proper knowledge of grammar, it will help us to frame the sentences and write the bigger things in the English.
Mm-hmm. So, an understanding of grammar definitely helps us. So, what is grammar? When we think about grammar, I believe, from my experience, most people say that it's scary. Grammar is scary. It's like a monster that scares people. So, how can we learn grammar well? I think the answer to that question is uh, there's only one answer, and that is respect. That is the answer. How can we learn grammar well? By respecting what? Language itself. Because without giving respect to a particular language, we can never learn that language well. We need to have a respect for language. We need to understand that it is this language that can help us survive in this world. It is like a livelihood. It is like a companion. It is like a medium of communication between you and the other person. So language is something we need to respect. We must show a respect towards language. We respect it and then try to understand how it functions. The functional aspect of language, the structure of language is called grammar. For example, you imagine like a house or a building. You know that when people construct buildings, they use internal structures, like they use some iron bars, they use their planning. Planning is the first step. Then they construct the foundation, and towards the top they build step by step, one brick after another. They use a lot of cement, a lot of concrete, you know. So a lot of things are being used in building a house. Now, the same way, building a language in your mind takes a lot of structural uh, work. You need to plan first. What kind of efficiency you want to create in your language? Is it a writing efficiency that you want? Is it a speaking fluency that you want? Or is it like a bit of everything that you want? Or is it just a listening skill that you want? Or are you only interested in reading a particular language and understanding it? So first of all, you have to understand that and then focus on that skill specifically, because there are four types of language skills that are available to us as human beings, usually. Which are they? Like, for example, listening. Listening is one of the skills. Speaking is another skill. Reading is the next skill. And the fourth one is writing. LSRW. We can like commonly call all of them together, put all of them together, and we can call them LSRW: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And these four skills are essential in learning how to use language. Because always remember, listening skill complements speaking skill, and reading skill complements writing skill. These are the background works that we need to do. These are the background things we need to do in order to, like, build the foundation of language. So from Neha's end, we can hear a lot of celebration, a lot of noises and celebration. I'm sure there's a celebration going on. So I believe, learning grammar definitely excites us. The first rule of learning grammar, by the way, is showing respect to language. Showing respect to language. And what do you mean by showing respect? Neha, can you mute it for some time, because we, our listeners can. Yes, thank you so much. That's wonderful. And so, in order to build respect for language, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by respecting language? It simply means that you have to be open to the possibilities of language. You have to be open. You have to understand that this language is important and special. Never degrade a particular language. Never say bad things about it. Never ridicule languages. What happens mostly is that most people are scared to use English in India. Most people are scared, especially in the South. Most people are scared, especially in Kerala. I can say that. People are scared to use English language. They are afraid to use English language. Why are they afraid to use English language? Why? Because they have often ridiculed other people when they see others using English language. When they see some actor, for example. I remember still a very important example of actor Prithviraj using English, especially in his earlier days, as an actor. Using English was, by this particular actor, was almost like a major issue. People thought it was a major issue, and I don't have money. It's my nephew. He's asking for some money, but I don't have money. What can I do? I'm going live. I'm going live. You have to go out. You have to go out. Please go out, yeah. I'm in a meeting. I'm in a meeting. Yes. See, I'm in a meeting. I can't do it right now.
What is
Go out.
he asking
Please.
for? What is he
Asking for
asking?
money.
Oh.
Money.
Hello, Ryan. How are you?
He ran.
Yes.
He ran. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
now you understand my financial situation. I don't have 3 rupees to take. Okay, fine. He was asking for 3 rupees, and I don't have it. It's very sad. Anyway, so I was talking about language. I'm sorry, guys, if you're out there. You know, I know. Sorry about that, but still.
No, I am extremely sorry. I joined in late because even I was dealing with the same
Better
issue.
late than
Even
never.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Better
I
late
was
than never.
also
This.
dealing with the same issue.
So, and we were talking
So,
about language, very important idea. You know, what do you mean by respecting language? I was saying that the first rule, Neha was saying that learning grammar is what we need to learn language, you know. How do you learn grammar? What is the first step that you need to take when you want to learn grammar? That was what I was talking about, you know. And the first rule that I put forward for our listeners, for my beloved Instagram family, is this. First rule, respect the language you are going to learn. Respect it. Never ridicule it. Never belittle another person. Never say bad things about a language. Never make fun of other people who are using that particular language. This happens a lot, especially in Kerala. And because of that, most Malayalis have a fear of using English in public. But
well,
when they
I
go out
would,
of Kerala,
yes,
when they go outside of
yes.
Kerala, they don't have any fears. Why? Because now they don't see anybody who can ridicule them, who's potentially a ridiculer. They don't find any enemies out there. But in Kerala, they know, they're absolutely sure that people are going to ridicule them, make fun of them. That is what is meant by respecting language. You can't do that to people. I remember an example where actor Prithviraj, who's a Malayali actor, in his initial days, he was ridiculed and bashed very severely for using English in public. For several years, people ridiculed him on social media everywhere. He was like a laughing stock. Why? Because he used English language. So ridiculing a particular language or a user of a particular language, the person who's using a language, that is the first thing you shouldn't do if you want to learn that language. You know why? Because internally you program yourself to ridicule whoever is listening. Your subconscious is being programmed. So you are doing that very ill act in your mind continuously about a person. And then finally, when you start using English in public, your same mind is going to ridicule you internally. You are going to listen to that same voice about yourself. And then you feel afraid, scared, thinking that others might do the same to you. You are right. You're absolutely right. They are going to do the same to you. Why? Because you have done that to them. This is what you shouldn't be doing. Respect your language. Respect is the first rule that you need to follow. That is my suggestion if you want to learn any language for that matter. Even if it's any language, your regional language, anything. If you want to learn a new language, respect it. Because it's going to be your livelihood. It's going to be your bridge between you and the other person. It's going to be the bridge between you and God someday. So I think that is the first rule in learning language. Respect it. And then obviously grammar. We were talking about grammar. So, ma'am, what is your experience of learning language? How did you learn language? Please tell us, tell our audience, how did you learn language?
Well, my situation, was, I would say, thanks to my father. Like I got admission in English speaking all girls convent school. And secondly, environment also matters a lot. Like my dad would make sure that he talks to me in English. That is the sweetest thing he do. See, I learned different languages throughout because I think that is the beauty of India, the unity in diversity. And I have personally seen many people who ridicule other people on the basis of accent. And nowadays, there is a new thing coming up. If they hear other person talking in suddenly a British accent or other accent, they don't realize that language is fluid. If you're just watching television or a Hollywood movie, then automatically brain functions like that, mind functions like that. You're going to catch it. That is for
Yes.
sure. And language is not, I will always, when I was in the psychology profession, life coaching, neurolingual programming, so I would have many homemakers. That was the saddest part, who would be ridiculed by their husbands for not knowing English language. They would spend years and years to learn that language and still no respect. So what is the purpose of any language if it is not making you a human being? What is the purpose of that
Yes.
language? If you sent to on this earth as a baby, it wasn't that suddenly you started muttering language. I remember a story that was one of my favorite, in which there was a scientist or linguistic, like he would research. So one of the neighbors gives that her baby to that person and says that uh, you take care of him. So what happens is that the funniest thing is that that person asks that, okay, you are, I am a professor of language, still I'm not able to understand what this child is about to talk. Yeah, what his intention is behind uttering those certain sounds that are produced by kids. So throughout, he spends 1 hour. That kid starts crying. So he goes to my, so he goes to his um, house help, and hi Roger, how are you? And we are talking on language, the importance of language. So, so what happens is that house help immediately says, "Sir, this child is just asking for milk or food. He's hungry." So that professor or scientist or who used to research in language, he was astonished. He said, "I spent so many years. I know all the languages. I know how the brain works, but I couldn't understand why this child was crying." So I always narrate the story that English doesn't make you superhuman, or if you're bad in certain language. I'm from Himachal Pradesh. There are so many dialects. After every 10 kilometers, also there would be slight difference in language, and I think that happens everywhere. So we need to remember that language is just an add-on. It is not something to demean the other person or make fun of others. I don't that support this thing. If you're good in language, there are so many writers. Every year they are winning prizes. They write in their own language, and they are proud of it. So if you're good, thank you so much, Digvijay ji. Thank you so much. I appreciate because he writes wonderfully. Because writing or even in public places, I have seen some people are so much ashamed. How will I talk to that person? If you are not confident from within, even if you do PhD or masters or DLED in English language, you will never be confident. Just be confident enough to go with the flow. Practice it. Practice makes a man perfect. There are people at the age of 90, they are thinking of completing their education. Why? Even they can think, oh, I am 90 years old, why to do that? So, yes, he's saying language is to communicate. People can feel each other's emotions, the relatable stuff. Yes, yes, it is. It is true. We are talking about how we are also talking about the issue of how other people demean uh, other people on the basis of language, on the basis of accent, diction, clarity. But thank you so much, Roger. It is really nice that you're interacting. All you guys can make it more interactive. Okay. Well, we all are from India. Yes. We are from India and we are a part of the international journal, The Holistic Pine. And Roger, you can buy a copy because it has writers all across the globe who are writing it. So we made an effort to dedicate this journal to India. That is what we did, India to the world. So we are here to celebrate languages, people all across the globe, people from various communities, tribes. It because language is always beautiful if it makes your persona fragrant. There is no point
True.
of learning a language and you think I'm the superhero, I'm going to rock the world. See, I am from a village. I'll tell you one thing. I am very proud that I can talk very well in my own language, that is Kangli. When I came to this
Mm.
place, I couldn't talk. But I made sure that I am able to talk because this is my native language. I can talk very well in Hindi. I can talk in English. I just make an attempt. Like I learned one word, edipoli. That is South Indian word. I believe that makes a person perfect. And there are times when I even forget my own language. I think that is the beauty of celebrating language. Yeah,
Yeah, true.
indeed that is. But what makes me stand apart from others, that if there is a person who has little knowledge of English,
Mm.
maybe reading, then I can help that person. I think that is language literacy or knowledge of language. Yes, people judge whenever we make mistakes. Yes, people
True.
judge because, see,
True.
judgments are always good if they are
Judgment.
given by professionals. So if lawyers are giving you judgment, then it is cool. But life is all about take a chill pill. Let the other person do whatever he wants to do. Because by the end of the time, it will be just like yanking and yanking, then it will be all peace. But we shouldn't stop. That is what we have to do. We should be,
Anuj sir has
yes,
joined. Anuj sir, how are you? It's a pleasure to see you. Anuj sir is the uh, editor, managing editor of the Kalamos Literary Services, New Delhi. They have published three of my books by now, and it's an honor, sir. It's an honor
hello, Anuj
that you are
sir.
here.
Good evening, sir. It's an honor that you're
Yes,
here. Yes.
Roger. Many things gets lost in translation. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
indeed, it is true. And
That's
thanks
true.
to Google Translate, there was
It's
one
true,
word
Roger.
plant and it had to be translated. So in Hindi, that person was writing plant, podha, whereas it was plant in the other way. But yes, that is a sad
Anuj
part, but
sir, how are you?
but
I'm
there
good, sir.
are
I'm
very
good.
good translators too.
Sorry to
That
interrupt you guys.
no, no,
Please go
no.
on.
Yes, I am. Roger's conversation is
Indeed, indeed,
really
indeed,
interesting, and whatever
indeed.
points he is coming up with are
Very interesting.
true. They are
So
true and interesting. And it
very
is indeed, but I believe that translation is also positive in a way because it gives access to everybody. Like in India, we are watching South Indian movies. So we are able to watch them because they're translated. We are able to watch Chinese movies, then Korean ones. So I think translation does the magic. But yes, it is extremely important that how the translator is, then it can be done.
and guys,
So
Anuj sir is the owner, is the publisher of Kalamos Literary Services, uh, which is a Delhi-based publishing house. He published three of my works, and I'm truly honored. I just want to repeat that because his presence here is like an award that I am winning, today. Thank you so much, Anuj sir, for being here, and I hope you're doing well. Uh, I hope Delhi weather is good these days. Neha is also from Delhi, one of my friends who's also here present. Thank you so much for dropping by, Anuj sir. One of my
Yes,
friends,
thank you
Anthony
so
sir, has
much.
joined. Anthony sir, how are you? Long time no see. I lost your number from my phone, Anthony sir, if you're listening. So if possible, could you please WhatsApp me anything like because I have something for you. I just want to communicate with you somehow. If possible, please do WhatsApp me, okay? Anthony sir? Yes. So guys, please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue, ma'am.
Yes.
You were saying, yes,
So
very
it was
important
on
message.
importance of language, and Anuj Kumar sir, who's from Delhi. So he can very much understand that how things can go wrong are related to language, and because in North that it is not even about North. I think all across India, languages are different, and English is the common chord that connects. It makes all of us stand on the platform like we three are talking here. So we are able to do that because English is understood by everybody. But yes, I strongly oppose all those people. I am against all those people who demean other people on the basis of language. Okay, how colonial powers came to the foreign soil, communicated in very sweet way with kind gestures, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, of course, British. Okay, kind gestures. I'm not able to get the question, but I am understanding you are talking about how Roger, how colonial people came to India
Hmm.
and they propagated
That's a
this
criticism.
language.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah, yeah. Yes, it is a criticism, but that is
Indeed, indeed.
it somehow worked over the years. But yes,
Hmm.
indeed, um, I
And
am.
when we talk about English language, there is this disparity between these two ideas, whether we should use English as an Indian language or whether we should consider it a
Hmm,
foreign language. Are we still using the same language that the British left here for us or for their, our forefathers, future generations, which is us essentially? So the answer to that question has been settled by many writers and theorists by probably 1990s. By the 1990s, early 1990s, this debate has been settled, especially after the publication of Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, where he mentions in the
yes,
preface itself
yes, yes.
what is an Indian English or what it should be. And there are several critics who later studied this concept of Indian English, whether English can be called an Indian language. What is it? How can it be an Indian language? What are the criteria that we label regarding, you know, uh, a particular form of English that we now call Indian language? And this debate has been settled already that India has a certain variety of English, variant of English, which we call the Indian English, which is in a way an Indian language itself, which connects pan-Indian audience, pan-Indian people in many ways, because India has several languages. Even today, I was listening to S.S. Rajmouli's interview where he was talking about translating, dubbing RRR into 5 different languages in India itself, not outside India, but in India itself, because that is how it goes in India. Different languages are there, and regarding these dialect or diction issues that have recently popped up, especially related to RRR movie itself. One of the prominent actors of the movie was bashed for using uh, a fake accent, so-called
Yes,
fake
yes,
accent
yes, yes.
during the award
Mm.
or after the award ceremony for the media. And these discussions are going on. They will go on probably. And one thing that we need to understand is that English language, like any other language, has its own variants, and those variants function as different languages in itself. Bernard Shaw said that Britain and America were separated by the same language. Now that is exactly what it is. British English is different from Indian English, and we have to understand and acknowledge that difference. And if somebody is using a British accent at a particular situation, that simply means that he or she needs to be or wants to be better understood by the listener. It is just an adjustment of his own spoken communication to fit in with the listener's criteria uh, for the need for being better understood, perhaps. And that need obviously comes from a certain. It could come from two reasons, two causes. One could be the colonial guilt, so to speak, and the other could be obvious need for opening up new markets, being listened to, being understood, the need for being understood. Because for an actor, getting an international platform where he's being interviewed by international media, obviously he or she wants to get, connected with people, taken to a wider audience, being understood. That is there, obviously, that part must be there. So that is my take on that issue. And I have full respect for that actor, whoever it is, who spoke. I think it was Junior NTR. Junior
Yes,
NTR.
yes. You
I, I have full respect for him because I believe that as an actor, he was intending to spread his message, present himself as a global star on that platform, and it was better for him to speak that way because audience had to
yes,
understand him,
yes.
connect with him. You know, they must like him, love him, because he himself is a product. He himself is like, yeah, should be a
Yes,
template. Yeah,
Roger is,
indeed, Roger, you're
yes,
right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
yes,
Also, I
yes.
think that's a great
Imitation of
opinion.
accent. Indeed,
Indeed, some
because it
of my
can land people into major blunders if they think of
yeah.
imitating an accent. And
Mm,
many people were pointing out about the actor that he's done his education abroad. So maybe that is also the reason that it could
that's
be
also
a
the
part of
reason.
his memory. But we are not sure.
One
But
thing,
still,
one thing that
at
I've
least
noticed is that as an actor, he's brilliant. Along with Ramcharan, these are brilliant actors, and they proved it on the live stage because I watched many of their interviews after that award ceremony, and I realized that Ramcharan and Junior NTR, they were using 80% of their communication with the reporters were almost the same. The words used were almost the same. Beginning, middle, and probably beginning and ending were different, but middle part was almost they were saying the same things again and again. Most probably it is like the actor's brain working where they learn a dialogue or something and then they present it. That must have been the pattern in their minds going on. I'm not saying that they can't do, an impromptu. It's not like that. It's an international,
some
platform.
people
So
are very
obviously as
good
an
with
actor,
catching
they're trained.
accents. Some people are
They're
very good
trained
with
for that.
catching accents.
They're trained
Some
for that.
people
And they
catch
are
accents too.
absolutely. And they proved themselves to be really good actors because their delivery was good, actually. It was good. But obviously, some people didn't like it and because they must have watched other interviews and all, and they must be comparing. And it is something that we have to go through if you're on social media, if you're living a public life. Here it is. Welcome. This is how it is. People would sling dirt at you. That is how it is. It's one of the curses of the public life, I believe. And some of my friends have also joined. Jiva Krishnan has joined. Shreya. Jiva is one of my oldest friends. Jiva, if you're listening, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, Roger. Roger
Yes,
was saying,
yes. Roger is right. I was saying the
Be
same
natural.
thing that
Yes,
people
indeed.
are going to be judging.
Indeed.
So by the end of the day, just do what you want.
Mm.
See, COVID taught us one thing, that life is short. Just live
Yeah,
life to the fullest. And if
true,
people
true.
are not learning the lessons from it, then that is the biggest problem. And over here, I'm not talking about the people who are pointing fingers at you. This is
Mm.
going to be everyday thing because that is how things go. But I'm
Mm.
talking about those people like us. We are warriors. We survived that. So the next big
Mm.
thing that we can do is just whatever we had dreamt of, or we used to think, oh, we'll do it later. It could be in terms of
Mm.
language or
Mm.
fears. Just do those things because
Mm.
we cannot just wait for tomorrow. COVID made everybody realize one thing, that it can just be the other way. We had never imagined what would happen, right? So,
And
yes.
people have this prejudice regarding English language, especially because it was the language of our colonizer. It was the language that the British brought here. That is the common narrative. It wasn't exactly the case. But obviously, the public education system was established by the British after the Macaulay's Minutes, as we could see. But I think English language writing and English language learning came to Indians in general even before the British came here. There were people who went to Britain, learned, studied in English and all. And even our national leaders during that period, they did not learn English in India during the British period. They did not use the public education system installed by them. They went to UK, they went to England to learn English or whatever they were learning, They were educated abroad. So that is one reality, and there is another reality that we should understand. Colonization brought a lot of other things also. See, for example, um, I think it was Imagine Communities, yes. In Imagine Communities, Anderson speaks about print colonization, where printing technology was very consciously and deliberately used in Egypt, in India, in all these Eastern countries to spread the colonial agenda, to spread and to authorize the colonial rule. But most people don't understand it, don't understand the significance of that because maybe because of a lack of awareness. And for us, print media even now is like one step ahead in authenticity, in authority. We still consider print media as the final word for truth and trustworthiness or the fourth pillar of democracy or whatnot, you know. And in that sense, a true democratized media is only social media, I think, in today's world. Even that is being, somehow manipulated. So the basic idea is there are so many instruments used by colonizers, but in our context, we are either forgetful about them or not understanding them properly. And we are only probably looking at English language alone, but it's more dangerous. What was more dangerous was the colonization, print colonialism. That's what he talks about, print colonialism, I think. And printing technology was used. So in that sense, we can't, in today's world, how can we just boycott printing technology? ऐसे ही हम प्रिंटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी को बॉयकॉट कर सकते हैं क्या? नहीं कर सकते.
Yes, there's a very good question. Why Indian
I
people are not
saw the
using Hindi
Hindi.
language to communicate? Well, that is a very good
Yeah.
question. I'm saying very good language. See, I believe, I'm just trying to know what you mean. See, from my own belief, I would say that people talk in their own languages. We have, when we were thinking about a different, the upcoming project of Writers Kalam. Yes, आप बहुत सही बोल रहे हैं. हिंदी में अच्छे से विचार
व्यक्त कर
व्यक्त
सकते हैं.
किए जा सकते
जी जी.
हैं.
is
देखिए
possible. The problem.
हिंदी में जो है ना, विचार बहुत अच्छे से व्यक्त किए जा सकते हैं, लेकिन आपको ये समझना भी बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है कि इंग्लिश जो है एक ग्लोबल लैंग्वेज है। तो ये एक रीजन रहता है कि इंग्लिश में दिया जाता है। जैसे हमने अपने जर्नल के लिए जब सोचा था, तो इंग्लिश लेने का एक मेन मकसद ये था कि अगर आप भारत से कुछ, भारत का ही एक ऐसा चीज जो भारत के लोगों द्वारा बनाया गया है, उसको आप विश्व भर में अगर प्रसिद्धि पर ले जाना चाहते हैं तो इंग्लिश एक मस्ट है।
जी
आप बात सही कह रहे हैं कि हिंदी में बहुत अच्छे से हो सकता है, लोग क्यों नहीं कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं। लोग भी कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, बहुत अच्छे से अच्छे राइटर्स भी हैं, आम जनता भी है। नेहा है इधर, वो हिंदी में बोल लेती है। सर केरला से है, वो भी अच्छे से हिंदी में बात कर लेते हैं। लेकिन वही होता है कि जैसे अभी हम, you meant that Hindi is not our language with you. Well, that is not my thought, that is your thought. क्योंकि इंसान हमेशा अपने ही थॉट्स को बाहर रिफ्लेक्ट करता है। हिंदी तो
जी,
मेरी
हिंदी
मात
जो है ना, हिंदी राष्ट्रभाषा है इंडिया का, भारत का।
यस
मगर ये हिंदी राष्ट्रभाषा है, इससे हर एक भारतीय हिंदी को रेस्पेक्ट करता है। ये नेशनल सिंबल है। Hindi is a national language. It is a national symbol. Like all national symbols, we respect it. You know, but definitely India is a multicultural, multilingual country. Okay, so in India, the problem is that historically, the south and the north are like two different universes. Like in the south itself, you have different states with different language, and certain languages are so you know, embalmed with their own literature and culture, so beautiful. Some languages are so beautiful that like they also say the same about their own language. They say they don't need any other language, like so.
जी, मैं मुझे
I think
ये
that is
पॉइंट यस
that is जी
नहीं नहीं आप
that is जी, मुझे लगता है कि हिंदी राष्ट्रभाषा है। हर एक भारतीय हिंदी सीखता है स्कूल में, मगर जब आप किसी और स्टेट से हो, गुजरात से हो, गुजराती आपकी मातृभाषा हुई, हिंदी आपकी राष्ट्रभाषा हुई, तो एक ऐसा एक विचार भारतीय विचार है, ये भारत का ही विचार है। यू कांट फाइंड इट इन यूके, you cannot find it in America. They have only one language, and that is their national language. That is the regional language. That is everything. They may have dialects. In England, there are different dialects. You have standard English and
मुझे
different
एक
dialects.
एक मिनट ना, आई एम जस्ट पॉइंटिंग आउट वन थिंग। मुझे एक आई एम नॉट पॉइंटिंग आउट योर नेम सर, आपने कुछ लिखा है। देखिए, एक तो आपने लाइव बहुत लेट ज्वाइन किया, तो उससे आपको कई चीजों के बारे में क्लैरिटी नहीं आई। तो मैंने जब अभी बोला तो वो सिर्फ हमारे जर्नल के बारे में था। और आप अभी सी लैंग्वेजेस की है या हमारी मातृभाषा है या सभी भाषाओं के बारे में हम नहीं बात कर रहे थे। वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट बेसिक इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, दैट इज व्हाट वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट। तो
जी,
आपका
ये डिस्कशन भाषाओं का कंपैरिजन नहीं है।
ये
This is not a
भाषाओं
comparison
का
of
कंपैरिजन नहीं है। और हम ये भी नहीं बोल रहे कि हिंदी में क्यों वो लैंग्वेज नहीं आ रही है। वी वर सेइंग कि कैसे कई लोग इंग्लिश सीख जाते हैं, उसी बेसिस पे दूसरे को नीचा दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो आपने लेट ज्वाइन किया, तो इसलिए आपके समझ में शायद वो गलत तरीके से पड़ा। तो फिर मैं आपको दोबारा से रिपीट कर रही हूँ कि हमने कैसे शुरू किया था।
जी जी जी
तो ये बात
जी
है।
जी। और एक और बात, another thing that I'd like to point out, this video will also be available on YouTube. You can watch it again so that if you have any questions regarding that, it will be cleared. Okay, you can watch the video from the start in YouTube also again later after a few hours.
स्टार्टिंग
It
से
will be
देखेंगे
available.
तब ज्यादा बेहतर
Yes.
रहेगा, बिकॉज वो
And
हमारे
your
लिए भी
questions very
यस
very important. Questions very important. And there are so many discussions and debates regarding languages in a multilingual country like India, and it is not possible to answer any of those questions regarding languages on any platform, either political or cultural or even artistic. You cannot answer any of those questions. Those questions are not meant to be answered.
Yes, these
because
questions.
we are Indians.
Yes,
That
we
is
are
that is
Indians.
what
We are
matters.
Indians. Yes,
That
yes, you
is the
can
only thing
subscribe.
that
You can
matters.
subscribe, no problem. Yes, you can subscribe,
Yes,
no problem at all.
indeed, indeed,
See,
indeed, sir, indeed.
Roger has raised a good question. Do you agree Hindi is national language while
That
Tamilians
is
disagree?
what I said.
See,
That
this
is
is
the
a debate
answer.
that is
That
never
is
ending. By the end of the day, we are Indians. We are
yeah,
born
yeah,
Indians and India is in our blood. So we
yeah. Indeed,
cannot really
indeed.
debate on this topic. There is no point on that.
And
India is
the
about unity and
discussion for
diversity.
the discussion for these discussion regarding these questions come up because it's a multilingual country, and we have to understand that these discussions there are no such discussions in UK, for example, or US, for example. You know, and being a multilingual country where every language, every regional language, and some regional languages are even older than Hindi when you look at the historical data. Tamil is a very old language, for example. Sanskrit is a very old language, for example,
Pali
maybe
was
ancient
there.
language.
There are so many languages.
So even, I mean, the kind of languages that exist today, Sanskrit exists, you know, and Tamil and all these, they are very old languages, and we cannot compare these languages within India from an Indian perspective. That is not the point of this whole live telecast, and uh, you know, yeah, that is not the focus of this live telecast. So the question that I raised with ma'am was, how did she learn English language? Which are the techniques and tips that she used, and what she thought about the way people belittle others, mock people based on their language. That was the question.
Yes, and
And I
Roger
think,
had pointed out a very good
mm,
point that
mm,
Roger, can you type it again if you're live? He had written that uh, there is one language that binds everybody. The same, I believe,
mm,
there was a quotation that was written that smile binds everybody all across the
mm,
world. So
mm,
that is there.
that is
And
the
language, I always believe that um, eyes come later, vision comes first. The same language comes later. What comes
mm,
first? It is just the God's voice that is coming out. Why is it that we
indeed.
are able to
True.
catch suddenly there would be a person who can't even talk, that person is having some issue, then also we'll understand that language just through the body language or through that
Exactly, exactly.
smile. That is the beauty
Yes.
of human beings. That is the beauty of connectivity. That is what goes. And if we discuss on languages and dialects, the basic line,
That's a different discussion.
unity in diversity,
Yeah.
वो कहाँ गया फिर? और there are people who are questioning, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन खोलिए, प्रियम्बल को पढ़िए, वहीं पे सब कुछ दिया है. Because debating and all, our topic was very different. Because we are here
But it
as
happens because
yes.
in a live telecast, people do,
No,
like,
I am not.
uh,
I'm not
you
saying
know,
anything.
best
Yes,
thing the best thing about our audience or Instagram
yes,
family is
yes,
that
yes,
people from different walks of life, and they just want to talk and to communicate. I think one of the reasons is because people don't get people to talk to, you don't get a chance to talk serious things about ideas like this to people, anybody.
yes,
Nobody is
yes.
willing to
Excellent,
talk. Yeah,
excellent.
that is,
Yes,
I think
yes,
that is,
yes. Oh,
yeah, indeed. That's one of the things. And the initial question that we started, let's go back there.
yes,
How
I
to
will like
learn
to
grammar
conclude
well.
it with Rogers because his interaction was fruitful and thanks to I've forgotten. It was a there were two, three people who were quite interactive, and
Mm,
it is always
mm,
good when people pour in their ideas.
indeed,
It is
indeed.
always good, constructive
Yes.
conversation. So one thing we have to accept, Roger is saying that English is international language, and this day and age of globalization, we have to communicate our ideas for the betterment of humanity. Excellent, excellent.
Indeed.
That is indeed true. And he has said, love is the universal language, empathy is the word.
Roger,
Brilliant.
true.
Roger,
Roger,
excellent. That sums it up because that is
true, true.
the language that is understood by everybody. If suddenly I decide to go to another place where I'm not understanding the language or anything, I believe that God has made us in such a way that our sixth sense works. Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you so much, guys, for being so participative with everything. Because
See,
I,
I think, people these days need these, especially young people, need these kinds of discussions because they need to form ideas on their own in
yes, they
their
are very
minds, and they need,
important. They're extremely
they,
important.
it's, yeah. So I was reading something, and here is something that I came up with. I was reading a book called Be Holy, which was about a very uh, popular mystic called Fernando Rielo. And here's a quote from him, which is actually very interesting. He says, "The young person is more enthusiasm than thought. The young person is more enthusiasm than thought. That is why, more than friends, he needs a teacher." You know,
Yes,
so young people
yes,
Yes.
need
yes,
teachers
yes.
actually more than friends. They need teachers to guide them. This is the way, this is the way, go there, try that, experiment with that idea. That is what we need. I mean, that a teacher is more than that. I mean, a teacher is like a symbol of sacrifice also. That is the teacher that I believe in, that
Because
teacher.
I see, I
Yeah.
don't know about other people. I
Oh,
couldn't
great.
finish my other topic on my journey of how I learned language. So the environment that was there, and
Sure.
mostly from the libraries. So it was from the libraries I would learn, and from the atmosphere. Our friends would talk in English. We would watch shows like that, and it was unconscious learning that was there. But yes, if I have to say that my communication skills became perfect, they did finish. But it happens that when you're learning any language, slowly and steadily you evolve. You evolve with kind of people from various traditions, language, culture. There are times you might even acquire their way of, reciting, or it could be the accent. Like when I
True.
shifted here, some people point out, oh, you have that Himachali accent. Suddenly, if I go somewhere else, that accent, because that is the beauty of India. I believe that is the
Mm.
beauty of India. Yes, thank you so much, Roger. Yes, sure. We read your, and
Sure.
your, thank you so much for your
Thank you so much for all those who
participating.
participated.
All
And
of
the first
all of
point
you.
that we began was respect language, the language that you want to learn. If you're a language learner, if you're someone who wants to learn a new language, whether it's Arabic, Hindi, English, Tamil, Sanskrit, Malayalam, if you want to learn a new language, the first thing you need to do is to respect the language that you are learning. Do not mock that language or the people who speak that language. If you
Yes, that
mock
was the
that
agenda.
language
Yes.
or the people who speak that language, you will internalize that same system in your mind. And then when you
Yes.
start talking in that language, your mind will mock you back and you will never be able to find the confidence to use that language. I think that is where respect comes in. You should respect language in order to use it, in order to learn it. And learning grammar, grammar is the structure, the foundational structure of English, so to speak. Two things you need to learn. And from ma'am's words, Ankush ma'am's words, it's very clear. Two very important things. She learned it unconsciously a bit. That's what she said. She said she used to spend time in libraries. She was a studious person. She was an
Libraries, and
avid
I was
reader.
studying in,
She was an
yes, in
avid
convent
reader.
school. That was also the reason. But I would
Yeah.
say that if you keep on just reading and building on a language, it will become better over a period of time. And
Yes.
I personally am taken back when some people say, "Why aren't you pointing out Hindi? Don't you like saying it? What is the reason?" See, if you know English language, it doesn't mean that we are demeaning the other language. The same goes to other people. There
Yes.
are people who know 18 to 20
Definitely.
languages. Does it mean
Yes, yes.
that they don't like Hindi?
I
I'm
have a
not
friend
not
whose name.
Indian, and I can talk really well in Hindi. Even sir can speak really well in Hindi. Neha can talk. There are so
One
many
of my
people, everybody
friends,
can talk. Yes.
one of my friends
It
one
is
day once told me that she knew 7 languages.
a,
7 languages she could read, write, even sometimes think also. 7 different
yes,
languages.
yes.
She's from
Language
India,
is
Indian
equivalent to
languages.
mother. Of course, yes.
And yeah, amazing, amazing conversation.
And I have
So in
one
the
more
next,
answer to that because there was one he was constantly in debate, and I, when it comes to these things, I become totally patriotic because I love India so much. See,
mm,
you guys take 5 SIMs. Does it make you a different person? 5 SIM cards you're buying, or you buy,
get
suddenly you go to a place, you
connected.
suddenly say, if suddenly you say that, oh yes, I want to buy that particular dress, a traditional dress for your own self, does it make you a different person? Does it make you a different Indian? Why do you wear then denims? You wear denims or shirts or t-shirts. Why? Because globalization is there. It doesn't make you away from your
See,
roots.
being different, being eclectic, which means being an amalgamation of all these ideas, is what makes you truly Indian. Because even Indian flag has 3 colors, not just one,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it
Bye-bye,
has
Roger.
that
It was great talking to you.
so many. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Roger.
much,
Thank you so
Roger.
much.
Thank you so much,
All those people who
Chitri.
Thank you,
joined today's
Roger.
Yes,
live.
all those people. See,
Wonderful,
it was really
wonderful
great
audience.
because getting to know various ideas from people.
Anu
When
Yes.
I,
sir joined. That was
yes,
amazing. Thank you so
amazing,
much.
amazing.
I'd
And
like to
thank you so
express my
much to,
gratitude.
yes, yes. There was one more account who had joined in, and
Indeed.
he was pouring in very question. I'm very thankful to him, and he,
Indeed. He
because
was
bye
very
bye,
kind.
bye bye. Yes,
He
yes. Thank you
was
so
very
much.
kind. He pointed out the debate between
Hindi
the national language
language,
and the
yes,
regional
yes.
languages.
But
That's a
yes,
very old
Yes.
debate.
but
Ever
he
since Hindi
joined
was
in late,
accepted
so
as
he
a.
couldn't understand. He joined in late, so
Indeed,
he
indeed.
thought that we are
Yes.
promoting English language and we are not promoting the
Probably.
importance of. Whereas the agenda was very
But
different.
I'm sure
So
he will
guys, if
watch
you
YouTube
have to,
channel,
yes,
our
yes,
YouTube
watch
channel.
YouTube channel and then you can go through
You
the entire
can find
discussion.
our YouTube channel by just typing Writers Kalam by Anu Lal. That is the title of the YouTube channel. You can go
Yes.
and online. You can just go to YouTube and just type in Writers Kalam by Anu Lal and you can subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, also it's okay. You can watch this video to the fullest and from the beginning to finish, and you can understand the depth of the conversation. Today's conversation was very special, not just because of the topics that we discussed, but also because of the people who joined. And if you are interested in publishing your books or any ideas, concepts, if you have any new ideas, you can also, write to us. We can guide you in many ways. As you know, as you've already seen, the many people who joined us includes publishers and academics and so many people, from different walks of life. So we could help you out in your book publishing queries and investigations or your desire to learn. Today's topic was how to learn language, how to learn English language. And the answer, I think, that we reached finally. This is a very important idea or a very important set of ideas that we discussed. Whether we should give equal importance to English as our mother tongue or our national tongue. We have three different languages, especially if you are not from the central part of India. You have this big question in your mind whether you should give equal priority to English or your mother tongue or Hindi. You should you consider them equal? And the result that we came up with in today's debate or today's live session, whatever you call it, I think we can call it a live debate or quasi debate live or whatever. And the final idea that we came up with was this: uh, being an Indian gives you this amazing capacity to accept multiplicity because you're born in many, and you embody this multiplicity. This is in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. You are many being one. That is India. And being Indian gives you that capacity to accept different languages at the same time. You are not bound by another model. Your model is right in front of your eyes, right underneath your feet. That's your nation. That's the soil you stand on. And I think this is the biggest advantage an Indian has. You know, and we have to wind up now.
Yes,
It's
yes. I
too
think we have
late,
to
one
wind
hour,
up.
I think. Okay,
Yes.
guys, let's
Thank you so much, guys. And
let's wind up. It's too late, and
Bye.
tomorrow we won't be doing live. We will be coming live day after tomorrow with a different topic related to language and writing. Obviously, we'll be helping our Instagram family to understand language, English language. And in the next session, obviously, we will be going a bit deeper into the mechanics of writing and the grammar part also. We will be discussing the practical side of all that. In today's live session, our focus was essentially on the psychological side of learning language. That is what began with respecting language. We began the discussion by respecting language. It was a psychological angle, the psychological makeup that you have to have, you should keep before learning language. And while learning language, you will have these questions in your mind. Should I learn English when Hindi is my national language or when Malayalam is my mother tongue? Why should I learn English? Why should I give priority to that language? All these questions might come to your mind, and I think we have reached a very, very important conclusion regarding that. And that is, being an Indian is your biggest capacity. You can include all these languages into your mind. That is the capacity. By birth you have it. So, and there are some theories that suggest, Chomsky has suggested it, every human being is blessed with the framework of language in their minds. Several psychoanalysts from Jacques Lacan, even before Chomsky suggested it, Chomsky pointed that out very importantly. Deep structure of language that exists in every human mind. All we need to do is fill that structure with words, ideas, sprinkle it with some love, as Roger pointed out, and we can all communicate, build bridges across our solitary islands.
Yes,
And
and we are
find
proud Indians. We are not here
beauty.
Tamilians or Haryanvis or from
Indeed,
Karnataka or from other. We are Indians.
indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
that is the truth. That
That
is
is the
not going
beauty
to
of
change. That will
that
never
is the
change.
beauty of
Yes.
that is the beauty of it. Yes, indeed. And the holistic pine, uh, India's latest independent monthly lifestyle journal, which is first of its category in India, has released its January edition internationally today. That is a big news that we want to share with our readers and our audience. It is out there. You can get the copies from Amazon.com, Amazon.uk.co.uk. So everywhere internationally, you can get it from Canada, UK, Australia also, I think. And in India, obviously, you can get it on Flipkart and Amazon. And yes, if you have any Amazon credit card or Flipkart credit card, etc., you can get 5 to 10% discount. Yes. So enjoy your discount. Get a copy right now. The Holistic Pine. The Holistic Pine. Okay. If you don't find it here, this is the second issue, December issue of the Holistic Pine. Very important edition for students, I would suggest. And obviously, learning language includes 4 pillars, 4 major steps: LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Very important. These 4 skills have to work simultaneously. It's like 4 tires in a vehicle simultaneously. That is what is going to lead you to your destination. So with these words, let us wind up today's session. Once again, Fernando Rielo's words sound very, very true after this session. He says the young person is more enthusiasm than thought. That is why more than friends he needs a teacher. So true, right?
Yes,
So
thank you
true,
so
right, ma'am? Indeed.
much.
Take care. Bye bye, everybody. See
Bye.
you next day. Bye bye, ma'am.
Bye.
So we have crossed 1 hour, and this live telecast is about to end now. In the previous two live sessions, the holistic fine live, which is what we call this live session, was mostly like a beginning step. Like we were experimenting, we were trying to see if it would work or not, and we received so much of tremendous response from our Instagram family, our readers, both on YouTube also, by the way. The videos were uploaded on YouTube, and we received so much of uh, love from our viewers on YouTube also. Thankful for all that. I'm thankful for all that love and consideration. So let us conclude it today for meeting another day. See you day after tomorrow. Have a great time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.